Assalamu alaikum fam, hope you're doing well. I want to talk to you about the phenomenon of women choosing bad boys and how that's glorified. And essentially, if you find yourself glorifying a bad boy, I want you to think about how unstable and sinful your life is going to be. A boy can never be a man, and a man who calls himself a bad boy is a degenerate scumbag. And you should seek to have someone who is a righteous, masculine man who fears God, knows hard work, and will not rob from the innocent to fund your lifestyle. You'll be held accountable on the day of judgment, which is promised, for every action that you did, and the company you kept, and what you promoted. If your man earns money in a dishonest way, and you spend that money, and you got that money from him harming innocent mothers and fathers and elderly people, that will not avail you on Judgment Day when you stand before Allah Azza wa Jal, and you will pay for everything. Every single thing you did, the ripple effect of your actions will be there, laid out in your life's record. And your fancy pants, your perfumes, your vacations won't feel so good in the flames. You wanting a bad man is due to pornography programming, it's due to bad musicians, and clever, agenda-driven narratives that seek to disrupt society, and you have to be smarter than that. If you willingly sleep with a bad boy, don't complain about the mental health, the abuse, and the pain, and you shouldn't have a right to live off the taxpayers' money. Married people who are law-abiding pay into taxes, and they should not have to support you if you decide to be with a loser guy, degenerate, or a criminal, and he ends up in prison, and you have children you can't take care of, and you were a bad role model, and you were using drugs and other things. Why should the good people support you? See, in a rugged, individualistic society, you would have to suffer for what you put forth. But in this weird, liberal, bleeding heart culture that we're breeding, with socialism and hybrid communism, where the good people must help feed the degenerate bad people who cause crime in society, this is a problem. This is a problem. You should have more honor and self-worth than to desire a bad boy, because the roller coaster of emotions he will do to you, the bad children he will raise, you are creating a very continuous cancer in the culture. And it's unfair to people who are good and moral and are poor and need help, and you who were a criminal, degenerate, awful human being chased a bad boy, and then you want to live off everybody else's hard work who made better decisions than you. And you can't scapegoat anyone else except yourself. See, I notice with these girls who pick bad boys, they blame all men, they blame every other group they can think of, instead of looking in the mirror and realizing they were brainwashed, they were programmed, they were led astray, and now they gotta do the hard work and repair and rectify their behavior, go to therapy and deprogram themselves. Bad boys, they are nothing but garbage. They are like elephant poo on a rock, infested with flies. You should want a man who is stable, earns an honest living, who you hope to see in paradise, who will help you earn paradise, who will be a nurturing father, who will be a protector from evil criminals. A bad boy is a fake image created by the media that doesn't exist. Bad men have that reputation for a reason. Okay? If you're picking gang member guys, you're picking drug dealers, you're picking scammers, you're picking men who choose to go to crime in order to live, the judgment day will occur, and you will taste everything you have earned. That is real. If I were you, I would not listen to the feminist, atheist, liberals anymore. I would not take their advice. I would not be with them. You need to change your music. That's why it's so brilliant that Islam bans music, because these musicians are selling you an illusion that does not exist and will earn you eternal flames. You can think that's not real. You can think it's all a game. But look at your life and blame no one but yourself. And if your mother and father did those mistakes and you continue those mistakes, you are a failure and you have failed and you have to rectify that. And if you've already gone to prison as a woman and you have a loser boyfriend, you need to fix your life. You need to change your friends. And if you are a woman who is, maybe a 7 or an 8, you're not that great in shape, you don't have that much money, you don't have many cooking skills or homemaking skills, you're high maintenance, you're naggy, you saying you want a bad boy is a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for pain and suffering. Bad men bring nothing but badness. Bad men are for bad women, and good women are for good men. You have to be wise. Your children don't deserve to hear fighting and screaming, gunshots. They don't deserve to see you high. They don't deserve to live in constant terror. Okay? And if you're chasing bad men, you're breeding that into the culture and into the consciousness of your children. And it's not going to be attractive or sexy or posh or cool. And when you're wiggling in the pain and suffering, the depression, the anxiety, the PTSD, and all the trauma that comes with a bad guy who you thought was so cute because his hair and his cologne, you have no one to blame but yourself at the end of the day. And then the good man who comes to you afterwards, he's going to have to work really hard to repair your heart, and it's not fair to him. Okay? His mother doesn't deserve for her son to be with a crazy woman who picks bad men and who will influence her good son to be bad, because bad habits rub off. Like cigarette smoke. Okay? It stinks and it gets around people. When you have a putrid soul who likes bad boys, you think you're bougie, you think you're a boss bee, you think you're a Nicki Minaj, you think you're a Cardi B, but you're really just something that should be placed upon the curb and where a dump truck should pick it up and take it to the landfill, and you shouldn't be allowed in polite society. And you should be put into exile and kept away from the righteous children so that you can infect them with your degeneracy, and you should be exiled until you learn to control yourself and you've done massive amounts of introspection. Okay? You have to analyze, what is your hormones getting at with this bad boy mentality? Is it his confidence, his body? Is it his fearlessness? You can find that in a good noble soldier. You can find that in a good man who goes to the masjid. You can find that in its proper form. A gangster, a thug, a drug dealer. In a better society, a great dictator would line them up against the wall, dump them, make them walk the plank, as they say on the pirate ship. They would be removed in a better society, which hopefully one day we can have. One day the soldiers won't be off looting foreign lands, but instead they'll return home and clear the streets and the earth from these bad boy type men. But it's going to take women leaving these men, neglecting them, chasing them out of their neighborhoods, constantly calling the police on them, really harassing them to get them to leave. If you want a predator to leave, you have to be bold. And if you are going to be the deer in front of the predator and then complain that your life is bad, don't scream up at Allah for what he has done. You brought it upon yourself. You invited Shaitan into your bed, and now you will reap the consequences. So if any of you have got these delusions of bad boy energy because of Hollywood music videos, you have to understand you've had a level of brainwashing going on. You want a man who brings peace, stability, and tranquility into your home, to where when you go to bed at night, you know he's coming home on time. When he wakes up early, you trust he's going to work. When the car is broken, he can fix it. He pays the bills on time. He has money for quality groceries. This is a good man, and bad boys can't be that because they're built upon nothing. Their empire is built upon sand. They have gardens that do not grow. The soil is barren and filled with chemicals. They're every negative metaphor you can think of. And if your friends actually care about you, they will smack you in the face when you say you want a bad boy. If your mother actually loved you, she would kick you so hard for saying that you'd have a bruise for 2 weeks. If you had a father who was actually good and righteous, he would snatch you by the hair, sit you down, and tell you you don't need no bad boy, and he would chase him away with a baseball bat. You know no one cares about you if they allow you to openly say you want a bad boy, as if that's cute and funny. We have 13 million single mothers who live in America. We have one of the key factors of American culture is single motherhood. And this has landed countless people into gangs, death, despair, drug addiction, suicide, and everything else. We need people to stay married. And to be married, you can't have a bad boy. And good men deserve to have polygamous, healthy marriages. Bad men deserve to be 6 feet into the really, really clay soil. Let's put it that way. Or very close to a volcano. Let's put it that way. If your family cares about you, they will never let you openly say that you should want a bad boy. And if you want a bad boy when you had a good father, when you had a good mother, you have to recognize those are whispers of shaitan. That's media propaganda programming. It's not real. It's an illusion. And the endless mental spirals that come from such a vile, turbulent relationship with a bad boy will not fulfill your soul, will traumatize you for life, leave you with lasting PTSD, and you will look at your own hands and recognize you did that. You did that. And this is why the brilliance of Islam, when you get rid of music, right? When you get rid of intoxicants, your vision is more clear. You can perceive these bad men. You can perceive them accurately for what they really are and where are they bound. They have no nur light on their face. And on the day of judgment, you will get on your knees, you will prostrate, and you will tell Allah that all the praises to Him because He didn't allow you to get with the bad boy. And all the friends who you're upset with, who told you to get away from that bad boy, you will then be so thankful for them. A bad friend, a bad human being, lets you get with a bad boy and turns the other cheek as you walk down that dark path. Being with a bad boy isn't cute, it isn't fun, it isn't kind, and it's a dishonor to your children. And it's a sin. It's an open sin. Your children don't deserve that. If you want to ruin your life, at least let your kids be 20 years old, okay? But you are a cruel, demonic woman if you willingly walk into a bad relationship because he has drug money and a dumb car and has nice cologne and you think that's sufficient. It's not. Good women will tell you this. The pimptresses who are lost on drugs, decay, have the memory of a goldfish and the morality of a jellyfish will encourage you to engage in this risky behavior, but a smarter person who's seen the decay, who cares about your eternal soul, who believes in the day of resurrection, will advise you greatly to not admire bad boys, and you should avoid them worse than you did the koof. Let's put it that way. When you see them, think of them as a walking pillar of death, destruction, and decay. Don't look at them. Don't acknowledge them. Avoid them just the same as you would avoid a poisonous cobra if it crossed your path, or some sick spider that was very poisonous coming down from the leaf as you were reclining under the tree. You have to be aware. You have to be aware, and you need to know that the media elite do not care about you. They are only in it for the money. They will sell you anything, and sin sells. Okay? Be wise. Rectify yourself today. If you find yourself with the bad boy energy, rectify it. Save yourself from the flames. Turn to Allah. Start praying. Start fasting. Start studying. Do it. There's still time for you right this very second to rectify your behavior and cleanse your soul from that evil desire to be around a bad boy. Choose a righteous man who is masculine, who is bold, and who will care for your eternal soul. Okay? Who will make you excel in life. And if any one of your friends tells you that a bad boy is cute, that they want a bad boy, I'm telling you, advise them. If they say it again after you've advised them a couple times, drop them like a sack of potatoes. Get away from them. They are sliding down and they're going to grab you by the ankle and pull you with them. And you don't want that. You don't want that. Avoid these broken women who want sin, who love sin, and don't have the discipline to change. Bad boys are not cute. They are dangerous perverts who will harm your child, and you will bear the burden of that on the day of judgment, which is not a joke. Okay? Rectify yourself. Think of this as a sort of big sister talking to you, or a friend at the coffee shop. Rectify yourself. Repent, change, it can happen. But any bimbo chick who you may be impressed with because she has some type of shiny hair, disgusting long hoochie nails, 70 pounds of makeup, and plastic surgery, if she's telling you a bad boy is good, she has the right to ruin her own life. Okay? Her looks will fade. She'll be a 45-year-old, mentally traumatized junkie who's in debt and alone. Okay? And you will hopefully, inshallah, have a righteous husband, healthy, beautiful children, pious children, and a very disciplined man. And you'll have great food in your fridge. And you'll thank Allah that you didn't follow her path. Their day will come to an end within their own lifetime and on the day of judgment. Don't follow them. Avoid them. They are a plague. You just can't see it. Okay? It's sometimes hard, but concentrate on where will the actions land them and what kind of demonic energy asks for something bad. Think about it. That is demonic energy. To seek what is bad and think that is good is an inversion, which is Satanism. It's not a joke. You can find somebody interesting who's pious, doesn't mean they'll be boring, but stability and peace, that is the great reward. Consider what I have said.